More quarterback tweaks, injuries, questions when it comes to the competition. What are the Browns going to be doing at cornerback now that the MJ Emerson injury news has set in that he's done for the year? What about those running backs? And how does everyone look at practice? We got a big show coming up. Browns training camp talk coming right up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara, the sickest Cleveland Browns podcast.
Chubb runs, he's to the 10, 15, he's to the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. There goes Chubb, he's to the 30, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Chubb Hub.
It's gonna be sick.
Welcome, everybody. Browns training camp continues. It's rolling along. And there's some more injuries, more questions to the quarterback. Of course. Why wouldn't there be more questions to that quarterback group with the Browns? There's always questions. Make sure you're clicking subscribe to the channel, notifications on, share it, jump in the chat too. Who do you want to start for the Browns at QB? Who do you think? What do you feel about this whole quarterback situation in camp and any of the other battles? And also, give me your win total for the year. We did a show a few weeks ago about that, predicting it. I'm, a little more optimistic than most as usual, and usually get proven wrong. But let me know the win total where the Browns sit right now, getting ready to start battling in those joint practices. One of two, the Carolina Panthers and then the Philadelphia Eagles, sort of those two pillars of the training camp season to try to gauge where this depth chart thing is going to be mapped out. Make sure you're following us on X, on Twitter, at SickPodBrowns, at AndyMC81. You got your fantasy football questions. We're going to be talking that a lot on the show. Make sure you use hashtag AskAndy. Get those fantasy questions and talk Browns and all that, as well as on Instagram and TikTok at AndyMCSports. But let's bring in my guy, one of my best buds, one of my oldest friends. He used to work for the Cleveland Browns. He is now an award-winning freelance sports writer from Cleveland. My guy, Matt Florjancic. Matty, how you doing, buddy?
It's good to talk with you, man. Always look forward to these conversations, man. I'm doing all right. I'm doing better than some of the Browns quarterbacks are.
Well, amen to that, brother. We know that's true. Yeah, I thought you'd appreciate too. You always see on the set a little homage to my guy Hulk Hogan, the Hulk rules. Yeah. I got the toys still in there. Might see the value on eBay. Maybe I should check that out. Just Hulk was always about making money. Maybe maybe we'll see. Got the toys up there, action figures, the Hollywood. So R.I.P. to the one and only Hulk Hogan.
Well, I know that you took that lesson to heart because you're all about making the money to freelance hustles and everything you got going on. So not really surprised one bit. Keep up the good work.
Rubbed off on me. That's right. So Matt, now you've been at Browns camp. You've been covering it. You've been watching and all that. And the thing is, there's the few second clips you can see on social and all that. But it's really if you're there. And I was at camp in 2019 for a day. But really when you're there, those things you can see behind the scenes when maybe they're not recorded. Maybe you can pick up on body language or an overall feel. And you being there, let's start with the quarterbacks. First of all, your reaction to the news that, Shedeur Sanders had arm tightness. Now he's probably going to be back, soon. Kenny Pickett had the hamstring. And now Dillon Gabriel's got a hamstring. So we got the old man, Flacco's the only one, knock on wood, who's still rolling.
Let's put him in bubble wrap then so we can get him to the regular season. I mean, honestly, the Dillon Gabriel thing, he's taken a lot of heat just in the media because his practices have not been good. And that's exactly what I saw on Saturday was just a kid that's, first of all, he's super tiny. He's smaller than you think. Even in cleats and in his helmet, I think I have a few inches on him. He is a small kid. Good athlete, but he just does not play well in camp practices right now. And maybe he's just a guy that plays better in games, but what he's showing now, it's almost scary, to think that this kid could be under center for the Browns this year at some point. And you have to, based off past occurrences, you have to take that into account that at one point he will play this year. And they all will. If they're all healthy and on their roster, I think all four of them will see time. And I don't think he's ready. I don't know that he will be ready. I think the arm soreness for Sanders comes at a kind of inconvenient time for the franchise. I think you'd much rather see him out there than Dillon Gabriel based off of just sheer size and skills alone. But even still, in some of the individual drills that I saw Shedeur throw in on Saturday, he didn't look quite right. The ball was underthrown a few times, and that could lend itself to some arm soreness. But as a whole, I think we're still in a mess at quarterback. I hate to say it, but I don't think anybody's surprised by it either. I think this team's quarterback mess is just going to continue to perpetuate itself until they settle on a franchise guy. And quite honestly, I don't think he's on this right year's roster.
And not run that franchise quarterback out of town, by the way, right? That's the other thing. Because we had a franchise quarterback. My guy, Baker Mayfield, just got a $30+ million extension in Tampa Bay. But no, we don't want that because it wasn't their guy. And we know how smart this front office tries to feel. And what concerns me with that is that Dillon Gabriel was somebody's guy in that building. Stefanski, Barry, I don't know. But he's somebody's guy, grossly overdrafted. Like, I still feel ill thinking that you spent a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback you could have gotten the 6th, 7th round, if not undrafted, instead of a safety. I think we need one of those, Matt. I think we could use a safety, maybe an offensive lineman could use one of those. But 2 starting spots that you could have addressed, one of them in that 3rd round instead of that Dillon Gabriel pick, and you went with that. And you're right. This guy looks small. You saw him in person, but the concern is, like, tell me a little bit about what he was doing to look bad. Is it like indecisiveness? Like just because he has some sling to it. He has some power.
He's not getting the ball to the receivers. They ran like 6 red zone plays on Saturday, and they gifted him a touchdown, but that was really the only special play that stood out. And in real regular season action or a playoff game, Harold Fannin Jr. is probably stopped at the 2 and probably getting crushed while doing it from a safety or a linebacker because it wasn't exactly the best pass, but his timing's off. He's not hitting guys down the field. There was next to no down the field passing other than Joe Flacco in the practice on Saturday. It's not there yet, and it's going to take time. Obviously, we all know it takes time to develop, but for a guy that's everybody's saying is got a computer processor for a brain, he's struggling to find guys and even to disguise where his passes are going. There was one that hit a linebacker in the hands, and the linebacker, of course, dropped it. But I mean, the linebacker was the only person on that side of the field. The wide receiver had run a go route down the sideline, and the linebacker cut underneath. And I think he was even surprised that the ball was coming at him because there was no Browns receiver in the area. He was just there to make sure that Gabriel didn't take off. And all of a sudden, the ball's coming right at him and hit him in the hands. And he dropped it because, again, surprised because the ball should not have been coming to him. It just doesn't look crisp. He doesn't look comfortable. It's not getting where it needs to go. And I don't know that they're doing him any service by rushing him out there with the first team offense. He took a lot of first team reps on Saturday. He and Flacco split the first team reps, and they can't move the ball down the field with it. It was bad. And then granted, the defense looks good, but it's always kind of in training camp, you're always kind of like, I don't feel great about this because if one side looks dominant, then the other side looks terrible. And that's kind of what we've got. We've got a pretty good defense, but we've got a really bad situation at quarterback. And truth be told, our wide receivers aren't anything to write home about either. I'm not just going to bash Dillon Gabriel and say it's all on him, but we need some help at the wide receiver position, and we did nothing in the draft to address it. I mean, you have Deontay Johnson, who's on probably his last legs of his NFL career. And other than Cedric Tillman and one other guy not named Deontay Johnson, nobody's jumping off the page at the wide receiver position. There's a lot of balls on the ground and a lot of routes that don't look like they're all that crisp either.
Right. Outside Jerry Jeudy, and then it's like just somebody please step up, right?
Yeah. I took Jeudy out of the equation because obviously he's a given, but like from a wide receiver standpoint, the depth it doesn't exist. It's not there.
What about that guy? I've heard so much about this, Gage Lavardane. Sounds like
he's
a French Canadian who's going to be in the CFL.
Well, somebody's going to be happy to get him because that dude can play. He caught a great fade route in the end zone for a touchdown. It was coming right at me. I was standing right in the corner of the field when it took place. But Flacco threw a ball that you're thinking there's no way that's going to get caught, that's going to get picked, that's going to go back the other way or get broken up. And like he threw it into a window that didn't exist yet and it right into the hands of the wide receiver. And that's a throw that only he's going to make. Out of the current quarterbacks, I don't see too many guys making that throw. Maybe Shador has the ability to, but I don't think Kenny Pickett makes that throw in that spot. I definitely don't think Dillon Gabriel makes that throw, and Flacco put it right where it needed to be, and it was a beautiful catch.
Boy, and the guy's only 5'8". That's the concern. Like it's like, okay, it's exciting. There was Austin Watkins the other year who had a great camp then didn't get used, but like we can't be pinning our hopes as our number 2 is gonna be a 5'8" undrafted dude. Right?
Yeah,
like
we've been down that road before. Andrew Hawkins filled that role a number of years ago. I know I'm going back in the way back.
Yeah.
Hawk was a hell of a receiver, and he did everything he could with the physical gifts that he was blessed with. But you don't make guys 6'5". Like you can't make yourself 6'5". You can make yourself really smart and really good, and be in the right position, but you can't make yourself, grow taller or gain weight.
No. And the Dillon Gabriel situation, I think, is going to even reveal itself more when you have these joint practices coming up with the Carolina Panthers, with the Eagles, because that's your simulated sort of practice situational gameplay. And Matt, those guys are going to be knocking down passes. That's why when people are like, oh, Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, both, by the way, taller than Dillon Gabriel, you can count on one hand, like Doug Flutie. Like Doug Flutie's played in the 90s. And he's taller than Dillon Gabriel. Like, the thing is, it's rare, and you can remember those players because it's so rare. This guy isn't it, and he had his ass handed to him by our guy, Will Howard, out of Ohio State, who, by the way, the Pittsburgh Steelers thought was good enough, along with Jack Sawyer, to go there, and he's going to sit behind Aaron Rodgers, who whipped Dillon Gabriel's butt in the college football playoff. But no. I don't know what game Andrew Berry was watching, but he liked that enough. An indecisive left-handed Hawaiian who's going to play in cold weather. Great.
Don't get me started on the Steelers with their successful run of Ohio State players that have gone through there, please. And it's enough to make a Buckeyes fan cringe.
It hurts.
It really kind of does, to be honest with you. I think that's the perfect way to say it. It hurts.
Our guy Judkins isn't even signed yet, right? He's like, what is he? Just limbo?
They've flat out. They basically told him, you settle your legal problems first. Like you're not going to be needing to worry about playing. I don't think he's seeing the field this year. At least not the year. I would say the first 8 games, because he's A, got to sign his contract, and B, whatever comes of this legal situation. I mean, if they discover anything about this, it seems like the Browns would be willing to walk away from him, as crazy as that sounds, given what they've done and the projects that they've taken on. In Deontay Johnson and then QB4, it's not good, man. And the running back situation, their depth is not great either. So, I mean, you're looking at an offense that is not particularly blessed at the wide receiver position. Their main star at running back is ineligible to practice at this point, and who knows what he's going to be able to give you if he does get in at any point this season, because he's got to catch up to speed, and he's, there's a difference between being in shape and football shape, and if you're not used to getting hit and getting practice reps, it's going to take a while to get back. And the Sampson kid, I heard a great quote from him the other day, said he's not a huge fan of either being hit or being tackled, and it's like, well, you better be really freaking fast, because if you don't like getting hit and you're a running back, you're going to last about 5 seconds in this league.
It's kind of the job, part of the job, isn't it?
It kind of comes with the job description. But yeah, I'm like, oh boy, this kid he's great in terms of statistical yardage, but it's like, oh, what the heck are we doing? Like it continues to perpetuate itself, and it doesn't give you a whole lot of hope for the future, at least in the immediate future. It was just a brutal session on Saturday. I went home and I was talking to my wife about it. I'm like, we had running backs tripping over the bags as they were doing drills. We had a quarterback that couldn't throw the ball 20 yards down the field. I mean, I've seen a lot of bad quarterback play. I started working with the Browns in 2009. So I'm on camp number 16 or 17 at this point, and I've seen a lot of bad quarterback play.
Yeah.
What I saw on Saturday probably ranks in the top 3 all-time worst looking quarterbacks in a training camp practice. And again, that's saying something because
Yeah.
it hasn't been a pretty history at quarterback for this team. And I mean, the name Cody Kessler comes to mind. At least Cody tried to get the ball 10 yards down the field. I think Gabriel hit maybe 1 out of 6 that were past 10 yards down the field. It's not good.
Cody Kessler was a poor man's Colt McCoy, and he was awful. Matt, is there, from what you're going over with the quarterbacks, is it fair to say that barring these eggheads in the front office, and we cannot discount that they will try to push their own agenda to look smart because that's what they do, and they always end up looking like jackasses. Is there any doubt that Joe Flacco is far and away the best quarterback on this team right now and should be the day one starter?
In my mind, there's absolutely no doubt that he's your day one starter. I mean, what's seemingly locked that up for me was the injury to Kenny Pickett's hamstring. Because while Kenny Pickett gets dinged for a lot of things, his game is predicated off of his athleticism. And a soft tissue injury in training camp usually equals a soft tissue injury during the regular season.
Lingers.
They do tend to bite you at the worst possible time. And when you're in a quarterback competition, I can't think of a time worse than that. He's reportedly coming back soon, trying to get back on the field for these joint practices.
He's throwing a bit, but not moving much.
He did throw a little bit on Saturday, but he's not moving. And that's a shame for him because, you know, obviously he's playing for his job. And if he's not auditioning just for a Brown spot, he's auditioning for another team. But to your point about always having to be the smartest guys in the room and having to prove it, you know who the smartest guys typically are in the room? The guys that you never hear talk. They're the guys that just do the work. They listen, they take in everything, and then they diagnose things. And I don't understand. I get the need for consistency with a franchise that hasn't had consistency. What I do not understand is that bad consistency is not good. So why do we consistently make bad decisions when it comes to draft picks and draft analysis? Like we're clearly not analyzing these guys right. And that's not just a quarterback perspective. It was the inability and the unwillingness to go after Ohio State guys, which the university is literally 2 hours down the road and they produce some great football talent. And then when you do, you're missing something in these backgrounds where guys are getting, before they even start their careers, they're getting arrested and charged with domestic violence and league investigations. You got Mike Hall. Now you got Quinshon Judkins. And you're like, what are you missing? What is the missing piece in your evaluations that allows you to continue to get these headaches in the franchise? And
the Steelers don't get them.
Continue to detract from what you're doing. Yeah, the Steelers, by and large, with one obvious glaring exception, they get rid of their problems. They diagnose it. They try to help it. When they can't help it, they move on from it. And then the Browns are like, we'll take you. And I don't understand.
Come on in.
It continues to get worse. It's not getting any better. And I understand the want to give people second chances, but you have to find a balance of giving people second chances and then just flat out running your organization in a better way. And I still think we're at a position where this organization is run poorly from a personnel side. You're still letting a baseball guy in the room to make football decisions. You're still letting Ivy League computer nerds, very smart people, make football decisions. How about getting a football guy in the room? You had one.
John Dorsey.
You know what you did? You got rid of him. You know who he helped bring in? He helped bring in guys like Denzel Ward, guys like Baker Mayfield, guys like Nick Chubb. Okay, you can crush him for the Austin Corbett pick because Corbett didn't work out here. Corbett won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. OBJ, that was kind of the undoing.
That was a bad one. And I'm not saying he batted 1,000. You're entitled to.
And no one can.
But he did bring in way more talent than this regime has, and he did it in about a blink of an eye compared to these
Nick
guys.
Chubb.
They've had 6 years, and this is what they've given us. They've given us a team with probably less expectations than last year. They went 3-14, and they seemingly got worse, if that was possible. They had a guy who was the franchise cornerstone complaining about his contract, wanting to trade out. and you somehow just threw money at the problem. The smart play isn't always throwing money at a problem.
Yeah.
The smart play is taking to heart what your players are telling you and trying to fix it. I don't know what they told Myles Garrett other than sliding that contract across the table, but when it came to the quarterback position, whatever they said, they sold him a bill of goods. And like I said, when somebody's sliding a 9-figure contract across the table, you don't walk away from it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're taking that. And he would be, in fairness, he would have got that anywhere, but like, yeah, he's back, and that's kind of where we're at. I'm very interested, Matt, as we wrap up here, to see what happens in this first joint practice with the Carolina Panthers, because I think that is going to be very revealing, very telling. Apparently, Miles Harden, as we look for cornerback help with MJ Emerson out, Newsome slides over. Apparently, Miles Harden, second year, has looked good. Cam Mitchell, you're going to have to help. It's now time for these Andrew Berry draft picks, and you said the questions behind the draft picks. He drafted them. These are the situations. They need to rise up. They need to rise up and do stuff. And we're going to start finding out in Carolina, are they exposed? Is there hope? That's going to be the next big step, I think, in this camp story.
Yeah, now's their time. They're not going to get a golden opportunity like this. This is your opportunity to go prove it. These joint practices almost weigh into your favor more than the preseason games because guys are really going after it. And granted, they're scripted situations, but this is an opportunity where you can show, hey, if we're in a goal-to-go situation, like I can play.
Yeah.
And we'll ultimately see what the future holds, but not super confident moving Newsome out to the outside. I think he's a nickel.
Only other choice, though, Matt. Yeah, no other choice.
I know they don't have any other choices, and that lends itself to not building enough depth at key positions. Like this draft, when you look back on it, is like it just keeps getting more puzzling. You take two quarterbacks that aren't going to help you at all, and you missed an opportunity to get a starter. You at least one, maybe two. But you missed an opportunity to build depth as well, and ultimately that's going to be their downfall. And they drafted like they were guaranteed that they have at least another draft in them and 2 first-round picks. If they go, anything like 5 and 12 or worse, I don't see how you can let that same brain trust continue to make more first-round picks, because when we're going to be in the exact same position we were this year, where they were like, oh, we're going to be the smartest guys in the room. We're going to pass up on a generational talent. We're going to get next year
value. Yeah.
And it's you didn't get, okay, so you got a first for next year. What did you do? I like players over picks, and I like production over potential. And we haven't seen a lot of players over picks, and we darn sure haven't seen a lot of production over potential.
Boy. It's, well, Matt, we're going to keep trudging along. We're going to hope that there's no more significant injuries and that the Browns go with Joe Flacco. And again, I'm very interested to hear what these joint practices with Carolina and then Philadelphia bring and sort of start to reveal with this depth chart. Because you're right, there are a lot of questions to be answered here. But Matt, tell people, look, man, award winner, I said off the top, multiple, year after year, award-winning freelance Cleveland sports writer. Tell people, man, you're putting out stuff all the time in different spots. Where's the best place for people to keep track of your content?
Follow me on Twitter or X. Sorry, I'm dating myself now. Follow me on X at Matt Florjancic. That's the easiest way to follow my stuff. And freelance for the Elyria Chronicle Telegram, and that's chroniclet.com. That's the website. And brownszone.com is the other website that you need to pay attention to for me.
Beautiful. All right, buddy. Well, great stuff. Appreciate you as always. We'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it, buddy. Have a good one.
All right. We'll talk to you later. There he goes. Matt Florjancic. One other good spot out of camp news. Looks like Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end, my guy, talked about it this last several weeks, continues to look awesome. And David Njoku is not at a good camp. Now, I think with Flacco throwing him the ball in regularity, that's going to figure itself out. But I'm just saying, fantasy football purposes, you're not drafting Harold Fannin Jr. to be your guy. But what do I say year after year? You want a second, just in case there's a bye week, whatever. You might never use Harold Fannin Jr. this year. But then again, you might. Because this guy, it just keeps popping back into my mind how he's playing, that this could be a special talent. Maybe could be one of Andrew Berry's best picks. He needs one of them to work, right? And I don't think it's going to be the quarterbacks. So we'll see. Big thanks to Matt Florjancic. Make sure, again, you are hitting the subscribe button, notifications on, share it, leave a comment. What do you think about what we were talking about with the quarterbacks? And Matt said it's scary that Dillon Gabriel could be called upon this year with how he's playing. What do you think about that? Follow us on X at AndyMC81, at SickPodBrowns, Instagram at AndyMCSports, and let's do it. We'll continue next week. More Browns camp talk. Get you ready. Some more fantasy football. We'll work in and have a lot of fun. Folks, we'll see you next time. And as always, go Browns!
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.